It is time for Toycember to look back at the size class that we lost, and that is the core class. Last year was the last time we ever saw these tiny little Transformers on the shelves, unless you had Walmarts and Targets like mine who couldn't get rid of them for months. But point being, we lost what was, to that point, a decent little entry-level price point for Transformers, and a brand new one has yet to be devised. So until then, we're going to just focus on what we have lost. So I thought I'd focus on one of the last new molds that they did for the run, and this is Tasmania Kid. Not Beast Wars Snarl, Tasmania Kid from Beast Wars 2nd. This is crazy. It's so weird that we are now in this point where we can just like throw a random Japanese Transformer character into the mix, and everyone's just kind of cool with it. You know, Hasbro just kind of go, yeah, why not? So, we're going to take a look at this guy. Now, there was never any repaint, remold, repack, reuse, reissue, nothing about this one, so this is about the only version of the toy you're ever going to get at this point. But let's see how it turned out. So, similar to what they were doing during the run of Kingdom toys, the idea here was to create a more realistic take on the beast mode, in this case, a Tasmania Devil. And they've done a pretty good job here. He doesn't have the gigantic head of the original one, but it actually does look a lot more like the animal. The fur texture is done pretty well all the way down the body. It gets a little bit softer in the tail, but it gets across like a little bit more of a fluffier aesthetic, if you will. Color-wise, brown all the way over. This nice rich brown fur. And then some gray up here on the upper legs on both halves. This done with plastic, this done with paint. And then you have the black stripe going down the back. We take a look at the face. The teeth are individually painted, which is great, but also nose is done, eyes are done. Zoomed in on the head, you can see one little issue that this beast mode has, in that it's a very interesting thing to get all the parts aligned correctly in order to get his little skull cap there to actually be lined up and not leave a huge gap. Unfortunately, I could not manage it here, but, you know, if you get lucky or you play around with the toy long enough, you might do better than this. So don't judge it for that. It's most likely my fault. But overall, yeah, not a bad little figure. So you don't have a whole lot of playability or articulation in this one. You got like the rear legs can kind of bend here at the knee, and that's basically it. I mean, you can raise the arms up and down, but then that's all. It's aside from doing this weird little scurry that I've apparently learned. You can't really do much with that posability-wise, but I guess it's there if you need it. Oh, you can open the mouth at least. So he does have that. But there we go. It's a cute little mode. Works. So, let's get him transformed, which requires us to remove the tail, as you do on like half of every Beast Wars toy out there. Let's see. Front legs are going to fold up like so, and we're going to lift these side panels off. You will have to push these legs inward at the knees in order to unclip them from these tabs in order to accomplish this. From there, we're going to split the head. Hopefully you got some fingernails for this, because it is a tight groove, and they don't really give you that much help. Once it is split, you reassemble the leg, because mine randomly popped off. But, you know, presuming yours stays intact, you'll open the legs up like so and lower them to get them out of the way so that you can get the arms across. So the arms are on this weird little, like, center hinge that both of them fold around. So just work the arms a little bit, make sure they clear all the spaces, and then get them all the way up until they can click into place like so. With that done, go ahead and rotate the legs down. There we go. Make sure those don't clip on anything. I'm going to raise the heads up, and then that jaw is going to become the heel spur. So open those up all the way. While we're here, we're going to line up the arms, make sure the elbows and the wrists are pointed forward, and the hands are in the right position. Flip the head up and rotate. That head panel from the beast mode is going to need to fold down, so it can tuck in behind the head. There we go. It goes in like that. That tab's going to go into that socket. So there we go. Make sure all that's nice and firm. And that's going to be the transformation. So it's actually pretty involved. For a core class figure, I'm actually kind of impressed. They could have gone much simpler, much closer to the original design, but they've reinvented him a little bit, which is not a bad thing in this case. Looking at him now, the proportions are actually really, really nice on him. He's got a little bit long-armed, but that kind of works for the design, honestly. Gives a little bit more of a wild feel, which I am not opposed to on the figure. We can go ahead and take a close-up look at the head. Jet black face with bright blue eyes. That's fairly accurate, so I'm not going to knock that. It'd be nice to be able to see the face detail, but is what it is. The chest is a nice little detail. I like that he just has these like pecs and six-pack abs. It's kind of funny to me. You'll also notice it is a big faux jaw, because on the original toy, the lower jaw would become the chest. Obviously, that's not going to happen when you have realistic proportions on the beast mode. So, instead of looking like a rabid chinchilla, you actually look like a Tasmanian devil. And this is how you have to compensate. But the overall look is still really, really nice. And I'm glad like the red and the teeth were all painted here. So, the detail I need is spot on. Color-wise, everything balances out really, really nicely. It has this, like, vintage vibe of a Beast Wars basic class toy, which, the big piece of shell on the back also kind of gives that vibe, but there's nothing you can really do about that. For articulation, we have a ball joint in the head, which has a little bit of up and down, but mostly just rotation. Ball joints in the shoulders, which have some limitations due to the shape of the chest, which that's unfortunate. Elbows are ball joints, so it has full 360 degrees and a 90-degree knee bend or elbow bend. You have wrist joint, thanks to the ball joint from the beast mode, so that can rotate around. Ball joints in the hips, and then ball joints in the knees as well, giving you rotation and decent bend. And then you do have a ball joint in the head, but you don't get a whole lot of tilt out of it. So it doesn't really work that great as a ankle tilt, but you get a little bit of motion. It's there if you need it. So really, not bad all the way around. I mean, again, there's a weird vintage vibe to it, being a Beast Wars toy that's using ball joints, as many of the Transformers these days went to universal joints for just about everything. It's a nice figure overall. I like it a lot. There's a few little grievances I would have, like in particular, I hate when the bottom of feet are painted, especially when they are an important detail in another mode. That does make me just a little bit nervous about leaving him like on the floor. Just careful not to like scrape his feet around when you move him. Oh, we do have accessory. We do have an accessory. So he does come with this weapon, which we don't have a whole lot we can do with it. I mean, it's got a 3mm port, so like maybe figure out something with that, because he's got 3mm ports on the inside of his hands. But what you're supposed to do is rotate his forearm around and then mount the gun to his arm, which is how the original toy worked, but it don't look that great, and it removes the elbow joint from the equation, unless you want to undersling the weapon, which is doable, but, you could be doing a little bit better than that. But that, my friends, is Beast Wars 2nd, or I guess in this case, Legacy, wow, I fumbled the series from Legacy United. Jeez, that's not going to get me in trouble in the comment section. It's a pretty good figure. I really wish Core did more things like this. A little focus on like the smaller characters would have been great, rather than, whatever it was trying to be all at once. But for now, yeah, I'm starting to miss these guys, especially with the price hikes. But that's going to do it for me. So I will see you tomorrow for yet another completely random toy review. Thank you for joining me.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.